What is up, YouTube? And welcome back to Custom Points Live. I am your host, Jarrett, and welcome to the live stream. As mentioned before, we might have an interruption or two. I'm a business owner and I have my family here at the house, so feel free to comment and let me know how you like my family when they pop in. In the meantime, I'm going to do these shorter lives here where we're just going to break down a simple strategy or a simple concept, and you guys can pop into these lives at time to time if you'd like and ask questions live. I'll be more than happy to answer them. In the meantime, you can comment, and please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to see more videos. So let's get right into this one. I mentioned in the last video that I have two cards that I plan to use in my wallet as of tomorrow, and that is the Bilt Palladium card for my catch-all, and that is going to be the Atmos card predominantly for dining. My wife uses this card predominantly for the fact that we get so much rewards from it. This is the Hilton Surpass card, and I also am able to use it to budget so that way we have a certain spend threshold. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about that, you can watch the previous video where I talked all about that. The question for today's video is, or for this video is, are these the only two cards that you should be using at all? No, these are just the two that I plan on having in my wallet. What about other cards? Well, I have a whole bunch of other cards here, and the first thing I wanted to talk about is it's good to have multiples of certain cards. For example, we have multiples of the Hilton cards, which we absolutely love. We plan on using those for lots of different things. You can put spend on that. That's not just personal spend, but pretty much all of our bills I put through the Hilton cards. The only caveat to that is that Bilt did confirm, and thank you to Frequent Miler for coming out with it, but Bilt did confirm that you will be able to spend on rent day and get that extra 1,000 bonus points. So if you have the Palladium card and you're getting 2x, that means that you would want to spend $500 on the first to earn the extra 1,000 bonus points and essentially earn 4x on that $500 in spend. So I plan on putting 3 different types of bills on my Palladium card on the first. That way I'll make sure I'm hitting that $500 super easy every single month. And other spend I plan on putting on my Hilton cards. Those Hilton cards are fantastic and I love them. So what else am I going to be putting spend on? Well, I use this card here. This is the American Express gold card, business gold card. And I use this card specifically for business expenses. This card has a bunch of different categories that it potentially gets 4x in. And whatever your top 2 of those chosen categories are, you get 4x. So for that business platinum card, and I say that business gold card, I have for advertising, and I use the electronics and US, whatever it is, which a lot of my vendors that I use are for my business, get 4x on that card. So if it can get 4x, it goes on that card. And if it can't get 4x, it goes on one of my Hilton cards on the Surpass there. The other card that I have, it's not in front of me right now, but it is actually another one of these, but it's just yellow gold. And that is another business gold card. Why do I use that? I get 4x on gas, which my car is electric, but my wife's does use gas. And we usually buy gas through Murphy using the Walmart Plus subscription that we get with that card. And that saves us another 10 cents per gallon. So we're saving money on the gallons and we're getting 4x using that card on gas. If you didn't know that American Express, you could get 4x on gas, that's the way to do it. The other category that we use for that card is transit. And that covers if you're doing a lot of travel like we are with the points and miles, we're usually traveling once a month. We park our car at the airport. The airport parking, we get 4x on that card. We get 4x on tolls. We get 4x on, I think it's Uber as well as what I'll use that for. There's a lot of reasons to specifically use that card. And I'll even pull up, I have a sheet here that I've been using for travel on which ones to use which cards for. So let's pull that up here. All right. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for you guys so you can see it. Let's make that bigger. So here is the cards that I use when I'm traveling. This is This is my recent strategy. Definitely everybody's different. So you do not need to have this as your strategy. This is just what works for me. Let's pull up the window here. And there you go. So which cards do I use for travel? I use the CSP, the Chase Sapphire Preferred, for protections and lift. I believe lift, it gets 5x. Then you can also add with lift, you can add it to the, connect it to your Atmos account, and you'll earn a lot of extra points. I forget exactly what the number is on Atmos, but you want to select business when you're doing that. I forget the exact reason for that. I just remember that's the move, and you earn extra. Except I think sometimes it's more expensive, so you just have to figure that out. Now the other thing is using the Chase Sapphire Preferred for flights, even though it's only 2x. Now this is just for me. If you have this Chase Sapphire Reserve, the Chase Sapphire Reserve is going to get you better as far as points are going, but for protections, this would be the reason. I haven't ever had to use these protections, and I've heard another YouTuber that say that it's really not that important. But for me, I have a family. It would be nice to be able to have these protections. So this is what I plan on doing whenever I'm booking flights. Now that said, I never, and I mean never, pay cash for flights. I don't. I have enough points now through the game that I never pay for flights ever. What I do pay for with flights is taxes. Sometimes for when you're using points, you do have to still pay taxes and fees. And then also you have to sometimes use it for if you're checking a bag, which I have a wife who is pregnant. I have a 2-year-old. We've been doing carry-ons for a long time, and it's been perfectly fine. But in our family now, we've decided to start checking our medium-sized bag and hoping that it doesn't get lost. And that's what I would use for flights. But it says here, CSR would be better, but none of our other cards as of January, including Bilt, offer travel protections even close to the CSP. So that is why I would be using that. Bag fees are a separate purchase, just in case they try saying it was a different card as above. That's me speculating. I really don't know if that matters. If somebody has any information on that, feel free to comment below. It is 2x, which kind of sucks, but I really don't care to maximize that if the the protections I get from paying with bags is sufficient. And then, as I mentioned with Lyft, you get better earnings if you connect your Atmos account and you pay with that card for Lyft. So notice I said before that the yellow business gold card that I have, I use for Uber, and for Lyft, I would use the Chase Sapphire Preferred for 5x, because obviously that's better than 4x. Obviously, it depends on what points you need, but I earn a decent amount of Amex points throughout the year. That doesn't really matter. And I also earn a decent amount of those through other strategies that are more advanced. If you have any questions about that, again, send an email, custompointslive@gmail.com, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you on a one-on-one basis about these advanced strategies. The next one that I use is the Venture X. I get 10x in the portal for car rentals. Now, what's great about that is that we have one of the Hilton Aspire cards, which gets us diamond status with Hilton. Using your diamond status, you can actually do something called a status match with National Car Rental. And when you do that, you'll earn executive elite status with National. And when you use Venture X in the portal, in the Capital One travel portal, they use something called Hopper. That's what their travel portal is. And Hopper, for whatever reason, you can still get the benefits of status when you're booking, which any other portal, you don't necessarily have the status when it comes to car rentals, but it does work with the Venture X. So you're also earning 10x on that transaction. So that's one thing. The next thing that's important is that you get primary CDW with the Venture X. So I also don't have to pay for primary insurance when I'm renting. And with that status with National, all I have to do is book a mid-sized car or higher, which why would you do higher? And you book a mid-sized car. When you get to National, you can pick any car on the lot with executive status. But with the executive elite, I've had them treat me a little bit better and get me a couple of things that probably didn't get involved. Our last time we had a BMW SUV that cost me like think the booking it this way was like $60 a day, and I had a BMW SUV for 4 days when we were in Phoenix a few weeks ago. If I needed to book a hotel that it wasn't through Hilton, because again, I'm a predominantly Hilton loyalist because we get so much value from Hilton cards, then I could book through the portal and I would get 10x as well with the Venture X, but I haven't done that. The other reason to use the Venture X and to keep it with you for travel is to get into the Capital One lounges. In my opinion, Capital One lounges are the best lounges. They have the best food. They're more relaxing. You know, I kind of look like lately that Amex lounges are just not holding up. The food's not great. You're stuffed in there. It does not feel comfortable. And especially when you have a toddler like I do, usually you want to be able to use those family rooms, which I've been able to use a couple times. It's nice, but most of the time they're full. So you're stuck dealing with a toddler in a crowd. It's not any fun, and you're not making it fun for anybody else either. So that's not ideal. And then I mentioned the yellow business gold card that I have is sitting in a different wallet, and I use that for gas, for parking, for Uber, and then all transit except limousines. I haven't booked a limousine, but just so you know, it doesn't cover it. Now, if you are a fan of Bilt, then you should know that you now have the autograph card. You probably received it in the mail if you were a Bilt user and now you're signing up for the Bilt 2.0 card or not. And the autograph card is fantastic for travel. So when I'm not earning 3x on Bilt, which again, I'm going to be able to do that with the Bilt Palladium card, that would be the only reason to not use the autograph is that, hey, I have the Palladium, I'm getting 3x. Might as well just get 3x in that, and then I'll earn status towards Bilt. So really, the only reason to use the autograph is, let's say it's near the end of the year, I've already spent what I needed to spend to earn status on Bilt. I really don't have to spend any more on that card. And if that's the case, I'm going to start dipping into some of these Wells Fargo cards. If you're not familiar, there's the autograph, which is 3x. And so what are you getting with the autograph? Hotels and motels, we never stay in motels, but at least it's there. You can do so directly. So it might be a good option if you're staying at a hotel and you don't have that card. Cruise lines, you get 3x. We haven't booked a cruise in a while. We used to go on them every now and then, but ever since we started really getting into points and miles, and we're literally staying in 5-star hotels for free all the time. We literally I have more free night rewards and certificates and points than I can even go travel if I want to. It's crazy to say that, but I could literally go stay in most places in the world right now. And it's not a matter of time. It's about how much of a pain in the butt it is to take my family with a toddler to fly really, really far away. It's just tough. So we've been staying closer. We've gone to Costa Rica. We've gone to, farthest we went was Hawaii. We've been to Cabo San Lucas in Mexico. But we're staying around this area. We would love to go to Japan, and we would love to go to, can we stay in Iran for free? That's a good question. Thank you, UK Savior. I don't know if you can stay in Iran, but I haven't seen any hotels that I would want there, but you know, someone could. Good other questions. So I appreciate the comment. So we have all these different options as far as the autograph is concerned, but I'd rather spend the 3x on the Palladium if that's the case. So then what other cards do we have here? This is a card that everybody seems to rave about. And when I was new in learning about credit cards, this was the card that let me just get rid of that. So this was the card that everybody was talking about. Oh, you got to have the Venture X, which is this one, and you got to have the Saver. And this is the combination. If you have both of these, when you're traveling, you'll get 2x on the Venture X, and you'll get 3x for dining and groceries, and 3x on streaming services. And listen, no shame in that. That's great, but the Capital One miles are just not as valuable, in my experience, as other currencies. And so getting 3x on dining, that's not really that exciting to me. If I can get 3x on dining, I definitely want to get it on the Atmos card, because I get easily 4 cents per point with Atmos, whereas with Capital One, that's not always the case. And frankly, whenever I'm searching for reward redemptions, it's almost never that I'm using Capital One miles to do so. And it's also, there's advanced strategies that you can use to get even more Capital One points. And so you can even use those Capital One points to erase your purchases. So for example, with that 10x in the car rentals with the Venture X, you're earning 10x and then you can erase using points. So you're effectively getting 2.22x on whenever you're spending that 2x on the card, or 3.33 if you're erasing with those there. But for me, I'd rather not spend on that card. So that's one I've been kind of not really using. Another one that's super valuable that people do not talk a lot about is this card right here. This is the Wells Fargo Attune card. The Wells Fargo Attune card, I don't use that often, but I almost always use it at the movie theater. That's an easy one. But let's share screens here. I'm going to stop this and I'm going to walk you through all of the things that you can use for the Attune card. And let's do that here. I'm going to just share this screen and we're going to go to Attune, Wells Fargo, and check this out. I'm going to take this off here. I know this might be a little too small, so let me make it a little bigger. And if you're watching this on mobile, I'll do that for you. And we'll just dive through this and go through this together. So you earn 4%, which with Wells Fargo, now that you have the autograph card, you can transfer that, and that essentially becomes 4x points. This is something a lot of people don't realize. You have self-care, which is great, right? Beauty, gyms, health, massage, sports and recreation, right? So that could be any of these. Art supplies, which could be even like Michael's and craft shops. Hobbies, I believe Lego is one of them that's on there. So if you're buying Legos and stuff like that for your kids, sewing, whatever it is, photo finishing, gardening, if that's your bag, the recreation, pretty much anything you want to do with your family that's fun is going to get you 4x, which is absolutely incredible. Pet care, if you have any pets, this will save you a whole bunch of money. I'm not sure if this counts for like vets and stuff like that, but it would be pretty cool if it did. Sports and recreations, lots of different options there. You can go to Dick's Sporting Goods, all different kinds of places where you're getting 4x. Tickets on pretty much anything you want to do, you're getting 4x. Now you could get 8x if you do it through the Capital One travel portal and you have the Saver card, but still 4x is not bad for that. I've never used it for that. This one's something interesting. There's an advanced strategy. I don't know if this is public knowledge or not, but there's a very prominent store online that everybody uses, and that counts as 4x because it's a bookstore. At least it used to be. All of these as well are other options. And then planet-friendly purchases, which is things like antique shops and secondhand stores, bus lines, EV charging, local commuters, passenger railways, and other transportation. So that's interesting because that card is just like such a insane, just accumulator of 4x. I don't know any other cards that have that many categories that it's almost catch-all. It's that many categories and you're getting 4x. Then you you add in that, where is it here? I'm going to share that one more time. Add in the Wells Fargo autograph, which again, if you had Bilt, now you have this card, and there's other videos online that people find that you can see, but you're getting 3x on restaurants, 3x on travel, 3x on gas, 3x on transit, popular streaming, on your phone. So all of that adds up. And then Wells Fargo also has 2x cards. That's the active cash, right? That's this card, and that's just your catch-all. By the way, notice none of these have an annual fee. And if you don't even want to have, if you don't want to have another personal card on your credit report, you can get the Signify business card. And that's Capital One trying to get you. See, the Signify card gets you 2x on Wells Fargo as well, and you could use that as your catch-all card. Then you have literally no annual fees. You have two cards that are on your personal account, so you're only getting 224. And you have a 3x, a 4x, and a 2x card, all for 0 annual fees. You don't have to do the jumping through hoops, justifying things. So that's another thing is people don't oftentimes think about sorry, I'm reading your comments here. People don't think about how Wells Fargo can be such a valuable tool. So that's just something to think about with that Attune card. There's some other cards that we plan on using. I mentioned the Chase Sapphire Preferred and how I'll use that. There's another card from Chase that is used for advanced strategies. I won't get into that. And then we have the IHG business card here, which is interesting. We got the bonus, and we have just never stayed at IHG properties because we've just gotten such amazing value from Hilton. Hilton got us. We are there. We love Hilton, and that's great. Another little pro tip a lot of people don't know is this is the Charles Schwab debit card. You can get it when signing up for a Charles Schwab account. To my knowledge, I don't believe it costs anything at all. And the benefit of that card is that any ATM across the planet, they will eat the fee for you. So you can pull out cash in any currency wherever you are. You can keep a little bit of money on that account. You can set up a Zelle account, like a different email address that you use specifically for that. And you don't have to have a large amount on that card, and you don't have to carry cash. You can just literally keep that card with you. If you needed money on that card all of a sudden, and it's not enough for whatever you already have in that account, you just Zelle that account real quick. Now, boom, you got money in that account. Go to walk up to an ATM, pull out the cash, and there you go. So that's a fantastic little card to definitely have in your wallet at any given time. And those are the main cards that I use. I'm not going to go into any further detail as to how I use them, but just to let you know, those other categories of what cards I would keep in the rotation for travel. But yeah, as far as my daily, 100% going to be these two bad boys right here: dining, and catch-all for everything else. So definitely, if you're in the market for valuable cards, those are the ones for me. Now that is based on, I'm just going to say, where I live. And I think what I'll do after this live is go through some examples on Seats.Aero of where I'd want to go and what seems to be the best for me. Everybody's going to be different, and that's what I'm going to have you guys start thinking about next. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know how you're planning on using Bilt in your setup and what cards you're planning on doing. And we really appreciate all your